welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Admansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin the Clue.
And Colin Cunningham.
And we're starting Christmas early this year. Just like we started Halloween early. We were going to do more horror movies, but we just could not wait.
Wait, I thought this was a continuation of the horror month.
Well, you would think so if you watch this movie.
Isn't this episode being released after Thanksgiving? So
yes.
This is the Christmas season.
It sure is.
This is how we're starting the Christmas season?
Oh, yes. God, it was this nightmare. Yeah, it's going to be all uphill from here because you can't hit rock bottom. I should say, though, that I know some people out there love How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the live-action Jim Carrey, Ron Howard directed version. Stop listening to this podcast right now.
Well, I mean, I also would like to say it's okay to like a movie. And I know that people grew up with this, and it's nostalgia, and we all have movies like that, which, you know, Queen of the Damned is a good example. So I can acknowledge that it's bad, but I still like it.
You watch it at a certain time of your life where it's like...
Yeah, it was formative to me, and so, yeah, I can get and why... it's a bit of a stretch for me to say I get why people like this, but I understand nostalgia.
Yeah, sure. You know, you're like sitting with your family. It's Christmas time. Everyone's happy. You're watching
Your family
Grinch.
could not have enjoyed this movie, though. There is no way.
I actually have a story about how I saw this movie that I vividly remember. We rented it on pay-per-view, which is something we never did, but we did this one time, and I remember it was after Christmas. Maybe it was January, but we were still on Christmas break or something. And I was telling my cousin, I was like, I can't hang out because we're watching The Grinch. And she goes, it's over. And I'm like, what's over? She like, Christmas is over. And I'm like, well, we said we were going to watch this and we were renting it, blah, blah, blah.
I'm calling the police, April.
We did not
do
like
a wellness check.
I remember about halfway through just being like, what is this? And I was disgusted by what I saw, and I never saw it again. But I love the original cartoon. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I watch that every year. Grew up watching that every year.
Justin, you had a funny story that you told me about.
Well, it wasn't me that it happened to. It was my good friend, Will Sloan. We were talking about, I think, Jim Carey on our other podcast, the Important Cinema Club. And he said that something that stuck with him forever, and with me as well now, is that he once went downstairs. He was just leaving his apartment building, and he glanced in because he heard people were laughing in the apartment beneath him. And he saw, and I believe this was not during Christmas time, them watching this movie. And he said they were laughing harder than he's ever seen anyone laugh.
I was laughing so hard when you told me that story.
That seems like something that would disconnect you from reality. You're like, what? Yeah. Why?
So did you see this when it came out, Justin?
I must have seen this when it came out because I was 11 when it was released.
11 or 12.
What was it?
I would have been
2000?
2000.
Yeah, around Christmas time.
I was in grade 7. So we were in grade 7.
And we were probably in full Jim Carrey fever at that point.
That's the thing. Oh, yeah. Jim Carrey, I was a huge fan of his movies. Even Ace Ventura 2. I loved that.
When he comes out of that rhino, hilarious.
I'm thinking about rewatching that, actually.
It's not good.
I have not seen that
except
in a while.
for that rhino scene. That is the highlight of that movie.
Yeah, I remember not liking it in the theater. I was very disappointed.
I was like, I am a Jim Carrey fanatic when that came out. And obviously, you have the golden triangle of Dumb and Dumber.
Is that what people call it? The golden triangle?
It's Dumb and Dumber.
The Devil's Triangle.
The Mask and Ace Ventura 1. And me, it's of course The Cable Guy, which that might be that probably is my favorite Jim Carrey movie.
Oh,
I also loved him in Batman Forever.
Oh boy.
But now it's about this point in his career where things are starting to go wrong.
I feel like this is the kind of tail end.
I also loved Liar Liar. I don't know if that holds up as much, but that was before this.
Well, it's an argument can be made that this was the peak of his career. How the Grinch Stole Christmas was the #1 movie of that year.
This just boggles my mind because, I can't imagine. But yeah, it was. Like, did he have anything bigger after this, though? Or
no,
was this
there's no way there was anything bigger after this.
Not a bigger hit, I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm looking here. Yeah, so this followed Me, Myself, and Irene, Man on the Moon, So that was kind of like Jim Carrey flailing period. And then
That's
following
right, yeah.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas, it was the Majestic, Bruce Almighty.
That was the downfall. I saw the Majestic in theaters and my mom fell asleep.
Wasn't that Frank Darabont?
Yes, it
think
was.
so.
It was
It's
Frank
certainly-
Darabont. He did have Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is like, maybe
Okay.
we'll like this serious Jim Carrey. But then he
Yeah.
followed that up with a series of unfortunate events, which is him
boy.
going like, bigger.
And the
Hamming
number
it up.
23 previous episode.
Oh, God.
But like, yeah, Eternal Sunshine, obviously, that is probably mostly well known as his best film role to not comedy. And I think it clearly is. But like the comedy stuff I've seen him do later, like Bruce Almighty, it's just okay. Like it's, I listened to that commentary track for the Cable Guy. And he's like making fun of his own career. He makes fun of Mr. Popper's Penguins and a series of unfortunate events.
God.
He says they didn't go
Penguins.
far enough on a series of unfortunate events. And you're like, really?
Really?
I haven't seen that. I don't think I can. I don't think I can take it after this. If it's anything like The Grinch, I can't do it.
Well, on the Cable Guy commentary, he talks a lot about how he's very self-destructive. That like when he's given all of this opportunity and money, he feels he needs to kind of torpedo it. And boy, I mean, if you watch The Grinch as like an Andy Kaufman-esque like joke,
Yeah.
sure, that's hilarious, I guess.
Like let me try and be as annoying as possible, but it's not just him. It's the entire movie.
The entire movie.
Everything in this movie is so obnoxious. And there are good things about this movie. I think that we can think of probably 3 things.
Well, okay.
I have at least 3 things that I can say that I actually like about this movie.
My favorite character is the dog.
Okay, so you got the dog.
I'm taking that because
All right,
he's
Max?
the dog is like my spirit animal in this movie. Every time they cut to him, he looks so like he does not want to be there.
It was kind of like the dog in Ernest Scared Stupid, right? Like a real dog. It's not a CGI. It's not a puppet, and it's often just looking at the camera like, really, like this guy,
Like,
this
what am I
guy.
doing
It's
here?
another para hang-faced dog with an insane comedian who's mugging constantly and moving around.
That dog must have wanted to like bite his throat out.
How many Maxes do you think
that's
they
how it
had?
should end.
I did read in the IMDb trivia that they were going to do a CGI dog.
Yeah, at that
Which
time,
would have
it
been
would
a
have been-
disaster.
I mean, I don't like CGI dogs now, but in 2000, it would have been a nightmare.
Oh,
It would have danced to like, who let the dogs out?
It would have been like,
whoa.
what's that movie we watched with CGI dogs dancing?
Like fucking.
Not Furry Vengeance, the other one.
Oh, they were-
Karate Dog.
Oh yeah, they were doing like the conga line and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I could.
Thank
just
you
see
for
that.
reminding me to add Marmaduke to the list. because we gotta watch that
no.
movie.
Oh my
Speaking of
god!
dancing
What's
dogs.
sort of baffling to me is that they got Ron Howard to do this movie. Like nothing
Yeah.
in his filmography like leads to this movie.
But Ron Howard, as he would say himself, he's a director without style, Colin. And by that, he applies whatever style is necessary to the project. And this is the worst thing about this movie. Like, it's shot so shittily, like a drunken
terrible.
cameraman who's
Yeah.
constantly like dutching. It reminded me of some David Dakota films that I saw like in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
where he got a crane that he could like dutch the camera whenever he wanted, and it feels so random. And
Yes.
like, we're in the moment, so I guess it's dutching for some reason, not related to anything that's happening. And it's such a misunderstanding of like the original source material.
Yes.
Beyond, it's cartoony, right? So that
Let's
means a
Dutch.
Dutch angle.
It's like Battlefield Earth levels of Dutch angles.
Yeah, but
like,
I
it's
feel like
insane.
Thor.
Yeah, I was thinking of Thor. It's like, well, it's a comic book, so you Dutch the camera.
But it
makes
just-
no sense. And also, it felt like he was like trying to be like Tim Burton, but
There was
misunderstanding
There was
how
no
or
rhyme
why.
or reason to it, and it's like what a boring director thinks is wacky, or
Yeah.
this will fit the material, and it's like you have this already wacky, horrific makeup effects on these characters, and then your camera is right in there with Dutch angles, and it's just
I love the trivia that says that Tim Burton was going to direct, but he was busy. He's like, yeah, I'm washing my hair during that period. Sorry, guys.
It kind of seems like something he would do. I just, why Ron Howard?
I think they were probably, like, the producers were probably like, Tim Burton, too scary. We want to get someone who's family friendly.
But if you're going to do it in live action like this, I mean, I was thinking as I was watching it, how would you adapt a live action Grinch? And it's so hard. And I think that you would need to have a little bit of scariness in it because of the nature of the character.
Yeah,
and I mean,
for sure.
There's a lot of fear in this movie having to watch it. It just assaults your eyes. But it's not the same thing.
I think I wrote my review on Letterboxd like 20 minutes into this movie. And I finished it and I gave it a half star.
The worst.
It's just despicable. Like, I hate everything about this movie.
The movie also
But remember,
has
Colin, remember the person laughing it up while watching
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
you know, this was my first watch. I've never seen this movie before until last night. So,
and you are familiar with the original cartoon, right?
Of course, everybody is.
So the other issue with this is that original story is not long enough for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So they have to add all this extra stuff, and so it's like it starts off like the cartoon, and then it takes a big departure, and then the last third is back to the story of the cartoon.
It's
And
does it start like the
filler.
cartoon as it zooms into the snowflake like we're watching Fight Club? Look at the effects we can do.
I think it did do that in the cartoon. I think
can't
there is a
remember.
zoom into to a snowflake. Yeah.
But it is fittingly narrated by Hannibal Lecter himself.
I like the
hilarious.
trivia says he did it in one day. Yeah, no shit. He sounds so sleepy. It's a real one-take performance.
We just watched Hannibal for the first time, and so it was very funny to me because it's clearly just him saying, "And now the Grinch went and went down to Whoville."
Can we talk about how the Who's look awful? Just
I want to throw up looking at the
They
Who's.
are, it's just like abominations. They're horrifying.
Now, who did the faces?
I think it was Rick Baker.
Rick Baker.
Yeah.
Who is
one of the most
beyond
famous effects artists ever.
Yeah,
Sure.
Done some of the best VFX ever.
He's doing what he's told. I mean, it would have been just so much.
I love how you're assuming that.
I don't know. I mean, it would have looked just so much better if they just looked like normal people, and they consciously didn't add any of the makeup onto the children.
There's some people who don't have makeup. I noticed two women
really
dressed as
weird.
candy
Christine-
canes don't have.
Yes, and
noses.
Christine Baranski does not have a nose.
She has something
a funny
like
nose.
she's
She
maybe
has
got a
the
little
big
lip.
teeth. The big teeth.
Yeah.
So are
it's
they
just-
freaks in this society? It's like that Twilight Zone episode. It's like, look at those freaks.
I have no idea, but Jeffrey Tambor mentions at some point, or maybe it's the father says to the girl, like, you haven't grown into your nose yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh God.
Like
let's
they
get
have
right
upturned
into the
nose
story.
in the original Dr. Zeus illustrations, as he drew many of his characters.
Yeah.
That did not translate to flaring nostrils, though.
No.
To a snout with a tiny nose on it. Like, I don't even know how to, it's like a weasel or something.
It's just bizarre. You almost expect them to have whiskers. They look like, like rats
I
or
think
something.
the Grinch kind of does. He does have whiskers.
And the visual sense of this film is a literalization of the stuff from the original Chuck Jones cartoon. Mm-hmm. But the way that it goes about it is not Tim Burton-esque. It's like the Joe Dante segment of The Twilight Zone, where it's like nightmarish, where it's like, what if these cartoons were real? And it's
it's
it'd be horrifying.
They just don't transfer into
No.
live action.
So Joe Dante, too scary to do this movie.
It's actually the opening shot of this scene reminded me so much of the opening shot of the Santa Claus 2 that I worked on.
What he did with the dancing CGI.
They're
elves.
like flying through the kind of ice, and then they fly through the clouds, and then they go into this like town square where everybody's like skipping and hopping around like a bunch of idiots.
Hey, we're all excited for the Disney Plus, the Santa Clauses series.
I couldn't believe that was a TV series.
Should I watch it?
I thought it was
No.
a movie.
I love that first movie, as we all know.
How
but
many
yeah,
episodes are they going to do?
I
this
think
show?
just 2 have dropped.
40.
I don't know how many are coming.
It's not for. Can you
It's going to go
imagine?
for like 8 seasons.
No, it looks
Yeah, and every
terrible.
episode, Tim Allen's going to be like, the new woke generation.
we
It's not
know
Santa
he's
Claus
gonna
like it used to be.
Yeah, he's gonna make some sort of comment. But yeah, going back to how terrible the Who's look, the issue is not only the makeup, it's the costumes.
Yes.
Now, the costume designer and the set designer, they really went all out.
Crazy.
And it's like, not for this movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And yet everything it's very creative, and obviously a lot of work went into it, especially
Is
the
this a
scene.
Bo Welsh production?
Oh, I have no
I don't
idea.
know who that
Like
is.
production
Bo
design?
Welsh was a guy who worked on like later period Tim Burton movies, and he also directed Mike Myers' The Cat in the Hat.
Oh my God.
I would assume a lot of the same people are on that because it looks so similar.
Yeah, it has that same vibe.
Not that I've seen it. I have seen many.
I will never see that
I've seen
movie.
lots and lots of clips of it enough to that I feel like I've seen
Justin,
it.
don't you ever pick that movie?
I've never seen it actually.
Oh God. I
'Cause
was
why
like
would I
watching
watch
this movie.
that?
I think honestly, I was watching this movie last night and I was like, I would rather watch Black Devil Doll from Hell again.
Oh, that movie's great
Watch this
in
movie.
comparison to this. But yeah, so like there's scenes where like the family has like cups and saucers with like tea in it
Yeah.
on their heads, and like they're dressed up with like plates and stuff on them, and it's just like it's never even talked about.
It's so random.
It's
Yeah,
not
they have
like,
plates
oh,
of like
we gotta
ham and
go to the-
eggs
we-
hanging off them.
we need to go to the Christmas
Green
parade,
eggs and
get our
ham. Thank you very
costumes.
much.
Oh,
But it, like,
God.
but like everyone is wearing these themed costumes, and
It's-
it's just
uh,
too much. My eyes felt assaulted. Too much creativity. And the other thing is the color correction is absolutely terrible. It's so dull. Why?
So
is it
this
not more
was the
colorful?
last movie the director made, and it says that he was suffering at the time from the injuries that he had during the shooting of Mighty Joe Young.
Wait,
So, like
what
a
you mean-
plat-
you mean-
the
talking
art
about?
director?
No, the cinematographer.
Cinematographer.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mighty
he
Joe
fell off
Young.
a platform shooting Mighty Joe Young and like broke his leg, his ribs, and he hurt his head really badly.
Oh.
So
Oh, Jesus.
maybe he was like on the way out, and that's why the movie is as horrifying as it looks.
Well, it has this like
Maybe
like,
that's why he was
misty-
struggling to hold up the camera.
It has,
so it's
it
like
has
so
that,
mean.
It has that Spielbergian like gray mist. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I do not like that like diffusion look on
Yeah.
this.
yeah, it does. It's I was getting like Hook vibes at points where it's just like just stop.
I'm not-
stop.
Is Hook
say
better
anything?
than this movie? Well, maybe we'll find out
course
this season.
Oh man,
I'm not gonna say anything about Hook.
I have to come clean. I actually liked Hook when I originally saw it. I think
yeah.
I told you this at the party the other night. Where I was
Yeah,
like,
you did.
I got the poster and everything. I'm like, it's a great movie. And then I rewatched it with my family, and they all like one by one walked out of the room as the movie was playing, and I was like,
Well,
maybe it's not a good movie.
wait. So like Ron Howard is obviously not Spielberg, but don't a lot of his movies have that kind of look?
No.
Or no?
I don't think so.
No, because like his directorial work is usually more grounded.
Yeah, like Apollo
his later
13.
stuff, it does have that kind of CGI sheen to it and like weird color effects. But I think this is him trying to stretch and just not understanding at all.
Like why stuff
Yeah.
is done.
Yeah.
It's just like, a very bland person trying to be, I guess I have to be like creative and visually interesting.
Whimsical.
I'm going to try to be like, like Tim Burton or something.
Can we talk about how painfully unfunny this movie is as well? Like,
Yeah.
It is so bad. At one point, this is terrible, but it's like at one point the Grinch is trying to hail a cab and it like drives by him and he says, "It's because I'm green, isn't it?"
That's a
And I'm
joke
like,
for the adults.
Are you kidding me? In this movie?
They have
well,
adult
listen,
jokes
Jim
in
Carey
this.
improv'd most of his dialogue.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very clear.
But there are jokes that are clearly for the mommies and daddies in the audience.
All right, we need to
Obviously,
get
we'll
into the
keep
plot
note.
of this, even though there's not really that much of it.
no, not
I
really.
feel like there's a lot to talk about, but there's not a lot of plot, not a lot
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
basically,
'Cause, like-
it's Christmas,
Things happen.
and I mean, also we all kind of already know the story
Yeah.
from the cartoon.
Do
it's just
we,
like-
or
it's
will
like-
we reveal it in a way you never expected?
Everything that you love in the cartoon about how it's presented, do that in the most annoying way possible. Like someone is like literally stabbing you in the eyeballs. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it's like.
Yeah, so we're introduced to, was it like Whoville? And, it's like countdown
Anthony
to Christmas.
Hopkins is like, I'm cashing a check. Here it is, me, Anthony Hopkins.
Yes, that's right. Just put the check over there on the table, Ron.
What, did everything rhyme, or was it just sometimes like, it rhymes now?
Kind
Well,
not always.
not all the dialogue, but I feel like all Anthony Hopkins stuff did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but some of the dialogue rhymes too, which makes
Yeah.
me think it's like the first week we're like, it's all gonna rhyme, and then like, nah, we're not gonna do that.
I think Jim Carey at one point in the movie says, "Oh my God, I'm speaking in rhyme."
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't like. I don't break the fourth wall, the Grinch.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
Don't break the
Grinch.
fourth wall, the Grinch. You must have said that many times throughout this movie.
Yeah, he's basically just talking to camera this whole movie.
Yeah, if it wasn't for like the dog, you'd think
Yeah.
he's like an insane person just talking to himself. And us.
So we start with teenagers climbing a mountain. They meet the Grinch. Actually, they meet the dog first, which is funny. There's like a big bullhorn that he yells in. I like that.
Yeah, it's like he's kind of like the legend of the Grinch.
It's like the beginning of a horror movie.
He's like the boogeyman that they all, and they want to like knock on his door and run away or something like that. But then this big like mechanical head comes out. I guess he's like an inventor as well.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Sure.
He does make stuff later in the movie.
He's got
now,
wacky.
I have not watched the Grinch cartoon since last year. Did he live in his own filth in that movie?
No, you don't see his house. Like you see him like making the Santa outfit, but I don't recall him living in a
because like the decision in this one is like the Grinch loves garbage. He literally chews bottles.
Yeah, and he like the trash chute from the town goes to his house, so he's made his home in a garbage pile, and so he's like a hoarder or whatever you want to call it.
This poor dog.
Yeah.
And then the Grinch, which is really weird, goes right to town, which you think would be something they, I don't know, would build up to if he lived in a big mountain.
It's a pretty big deal in the cartoon when he finally decides to do that.
Yeah, it's like he kind of like just wears like a hood and like a really terrible looking mask, and he's like wandering around town like does this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? He's not sneaking around. He's
creating mischief.
Oh, that wacky Grinch. So then we're introduced to Cindy Lou and her father, Bill Irwin. He's a kind of like vaudevillian.
And according to Colin, he looks like he does in real life, like he does as a Who.
Kind of, yeah. I recognized him immediately. But
I was like, who is that man? But apparently he's been in like a bajillion things.
He's been in it, yeah. He's like a physical comedian, and I think he kind of specializes. Like he wears like an old vaudevillian outfit on stage.
Oh, isn't he a Jim Henson guy?
I'm not sure, but I know he played...
Because I'm looking at photos here, and there's a lot of photos of him like posing with Kermit the Frog.
Maybe he was on the Muppet Show.
It's quite possible, yeah. That makes sense because I know he played Tars the robot in Interstellar. He was actually hooked up to the puppet.
He was like, he was doing like mocap?
No, he was like driving it with like rods and like things, and they just like removed him, painted him out, and he did the voice as well, I think.
So he must have some experience with puppetry then.
Yeah, he's like a kind of physical guy, and he does like pratfalls and
Yeah, I mean he's fine in this. Like he's no more annoying than everyone else.
No, I think he's fine. He's kind of sliding around. He works at the post office, and he's sliding on this like ladder. You know what I mean? He's doing some physical gags there.
And is the camera a Dutch angle? Of course it is.
You better believe.
This is when I realized I'm like, this is going to be the whole movie.
Yeah.
Honestly,
oh my God.
I was getting, now I'm like, I'm in a Terry Gilliam movie now.
Yeah.
Where everyone is like shoving
Late
their
period
faces
Terry
into the camera.
Gilliam.
Yeah.
Where he's like, minorities get too many opportunities. And you're like, oh
Not
no,
that
Terry.
But
you see everybody's like spending money on Christmas. It's all about capitalism, and it's like.
And then Cindy Lou, who's noticing, so already she's better than every Who in the world.
Yeah.
In Whoville, because she notices that capitalism is wrong.
Yeah, everyone's buying. It's not about the presents. Very good decision. I don't know if it was because child labor laws, but very wise decision not to put any makeup on the children's face.
Were they like it's just too scary?
They would just look like monsters.
Or maybe it would just take too long to put it on a child.
Yeah, I don't know if
like
they were
their nose gets stuck like that for the rest of their career.
These are the formative years for their facial features.
So what do you guys think about her performance? Is it okay?
Taylor Momsen of Gossip Girl fame? I'm just looking at her IMDb
she grew up
right
to
now.
Be in Gossip Girl. Okay, I just kind of feel like it's like not Dakota Fanning, but I mean, not everyone can be Dakota Fanning.
She's
like
fine.
they wanted Dakota Fanning and they couldn't get her.
They got her for Cat in the Hat.
Oh God,
is she in Cat in the Hat?
Yeah.
Oh jeez,
she's the little girl in that.
Ugh,
poor girl. I don't know. Cindy Lou is fine. I think she's in like a goth band now or something. The actress.
Yeah, she is. I'm looking here and there's a bunch of music videos.
Yeah,
from 2014 onward.
Yeah, she's fine. I mean, the only purpose she serves is just to look cute.
Well, that's funny that she's in a band because she cannot sing in this movie.
Oh God, there's some music.
Oh man, April's dropping the hammer on this poor young actor.
No, you know what? She's fine. I think she's cute. She doesn't have shit all over her face, so therefore she's much cuter than everyone else in this movie.
Yeah, so maybe it was just like one of those things, like she's supposed to be cute. We can't have this horrific makeup on her.
Do you think she has nightmares where she's haunted by Jim Carrey's The Grinch?
Well,
I bet
she
he
was
like
laughing
didn't
at
break
his
character like on set. He's
Well,
like, I'm
there
the
was
Grinch. Look
There
at
was
me.
a famous story. There was a really well-known makeup artist. I forget his name. He was a Japanese guy. He quit the industry because of working with Jim Carrey on this film.
The Grinch?
Wow.
Yes. Putting the makeup on, he said Jim Carrey was such an asshole to everybody that he just walked off set, the makeup guy, and he said, I'm not coming back. And Ron Howard had to talk him into coming back. He was the one that applied his makeup. He said, okay, I promise you Jim Carrey is going to be nice to everybody. He said it was still such a miserable experience that he left the industry after that.
I can't imagine somebody just being mean to everybody, you know?
He seems like one of those assholes.
I mean,
watched
that's what they say about Mike Myers, too.
that documentary on Jim Carrey.
Well, that documentary is like Jim Carrey has mental problems.
He's an insufferable asshole that just like thinks.
Well, I think that it's like he's like, I'm the big star on set, so I have to have to act like a
He
big
thinks
star
he
and be a
has to
big
get like
jerk.
method and
I
become
have
a
to
character.
be the Grinch.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's also him wanting to justify the money he's making, the attentions he's getting.
I guess.
Like, people being like, oh, you're just a funny man. He's like, oh, I'm going to go method and be an asshole instead. It's like,
Yeah.
Jim, what are you doing?
I'm just
I know,
watching that
it's awful.
documentary on him. I was so like embarrassed for him. Like, oh my God. And you just look at how everyone's reacting to him. Like Danny DeVito is just looking at him like, oh my
He's
God.
like, I knew Andy Kaufman. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
just like, boy, you're such an idiot. Anyway,
So the Grinch shows up. He goes to town. He meets Cindy Lou Who in the. She almost gets like.
Well, he
crushed by a
throws her
trash
in the like
compactor.
mail crushing thing.
yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
sorting machine. The dad says, watch out for the sorting machine.
Yeah, go into this back room where there's a machine that could crush you, and go by yourself and make sure you don't fall in it.
Yeah, and then the Grinch is
terrible
like,
father.
he's like mixing up people's mail and giving them like jury duty and all
yeah.
this sort of stuff.
Jury duty.
For all the murders happening in Whoville.
And the kids are saying, "Mommy, what's jury duty?" Yeah.
Gonna find a big pile of bones in the Grinch's lair.
Yeah, he eats children.
Well, you know that mayor is into some shady dealings. as well.
Yeah, they should.
Oh, you mean bad man Jeffrey Tambor? No.
Yeah, it's funny because if I didn't recognize his voice, like April was telling me that's Jeffrey Tambor, and I could not see it. Like he looks
see him.
unrecognizable pretty much in this.
What if instead of Jim Carrey, they just painted Clint Howard green and they made him the Grinch?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Clint Howard
great.
plays Jeffrey Tambor's number 2. Jeffrey Tambor's the mayor of Whoville, and I was saying that Clint Howard kind of looks better with the makeup.
It's an improvement.
It's an improvement.
Aw.
And so the Grinch saves Cindy Lou Who from the machine because his dog bites his ass and he's like, oh, my ass.
Because he wouldn't have saved
And
her otherwise.
Wait, one question I have. The Grinch is naked in this movie, right?
Yeah, because at one point he's saying, "Oh, what am I going to wear?"
Yeah.
And like you see him at one point walk, he has a real like huge butt. Like
Yeah.
real
I feel like everybody does in
they
this movie.
they added butts to everyone.
Like if like they weren't horrific enough, we've got to like pad their butts out and give
yeah.
them strange torsos.
It's so gross. This movie's gross.
I mean, if you find it very erotic, you know, everyone's allowed to like what they like.
Christine Baranski's into it.
Oh yeah, she loves it.
She's
What is she
she's
from?
into the sorry. She's in everything.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know.
All right,
Anything
all right.
that I can think of you haven't seen.
Okay.
She was in Chicago, but I mean
The city or the
in
show?
a lot of stuff, and she's really funny.
She's a Broadway person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly.
Oh, I should have got her singing a song because that kid sucks.
I feel that her makeup like does not do her any favors either. Like she looks like a plastic doll.
Yeah, she's supposed to look hot. So it's scene coming up here where she's shooting the lights on the house. I liked that. I think that's cute.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
funny. And it's like a neat contraption that's actually like doing something useful.
Yeah, it's like Molly Shannon is
Yeah.
Cindy Lou Who's mom.
Yeah.
We see her like she'd spent the day putting up the things. I guess like Christine Baranski is like
She's their neighbor.
she's like the rich neighbor. She's
Yeah.
like the rich single lady.
Yeah, although she's not single, she's dating the mayor.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if that's my favorite thing, but I did like that that contraption, and I thought it was funny. And it's a funny joke on neighbors always outdoing each other on Christmas.
I don't care about my neighbors. Not one bit.
I don't talk to my neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does the Grinch just like fly back into his like Super Mario pipe? And
Yeah,
then
he's
go,
got this
go?
Oh, yeah, he does. And this is when the movie's like, Jim, it's all yours. Just take us where you want us to take us.
just
You
riff.
comedic
I
genius.
could just picture them like, roll camera, and then, all right, we're going to lunch, everybody. I'm Ron Howard. And then Jim Carrey just goes to town.
Yeah.
Him and this poor dog.
Yeah, so he's like eating glass and like flinging around, zip lining
Yeah, he's
around
got a
his
zip
like
line.
disgusting hole of a cave.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, the set design, like, again, like, it's kind of like Nothing But Trouble. It's like, yeah, it's disgusting, but like, look at what they made. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that.
you almost have to admire the, I don't know, mechanical.
the effort.
I would
ability.
rather watch Nothing Than Trouble, Trouble than The Grinch again.
No.
Yes.
Okay,
I've never seen it, so
Okay,
I've
please
only
do not
only
pick
seen
that
clips
movie.
of it. That's it. Okay, that's 2 movies now. Yeah,
Okay.
not allowed to.
We're going to
we
do
can
a
do
whole
it.
month of like Colin doesn't want to watch movies.
Yeah,
And
we'll
you're
do
just
a poll.
you're just writing them down.
Yeah,
Oh,
the next
God.
100th episode, it'll be like,
Like I
all
would
the movies that we tried to watch but failed. And
I'd rather do like a redo of Black Devil Doll from Hell. We'll like watch it again, have another discussion
that
about
movie's
it.
fine.
Yeah, whatever.
There
I
was-
think that Nothing But Trouble, if you watch it again, you'd be like, oh, this is inventive and amusing, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe compared to the Grinch, I might like it.
maybe
Yes, compared to The Grinch, a much funnier film, which
Yeah. It
I
does
never
have
thought I
better
would say in association with either film.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like, as soon as I saw him zip lining around his place, I was just like, oh God.
he's
And
eating the glass bottle and he goes, "Oh, it was a very good year."
Yeah, this is where I'm getting
Joke
like
about wine.
the Lost Boy vibes and like Hook, like, oh God, with the contraptions and like pulleys and winches and
I'm like 2 pages into my notes, and I just wrote again during the scene, Grinch looks like shit.
It's true. Like they spent so much. And he
The
looks
camera
good.
is continually like just leering at him. It's like, this is what you guys love, right? Jim
Yeah.
Carrey. Look at him talk out of the side of his mouth.
Yeah,
and like
so
make
this is
crazy
funny.
faces.
It says on IMDb that he based his like performance on Sean Connery, which makes sense.
He's not
Yeah, it
really
does.
doing a
He's
Sean
kind of talking like this,
Oh, okay. All right.
not with the Scottish accent, but he's the who's.
Okay, well that
like,
explains it.
all right.
Should have done a Boris Karloff.
What if they had cast Sean Connery in the role of the Grinch?
Oh my God, the Grinch! They wouldn't. They just paint his hair green. They wouldn't have to put any prosthetics
At least
on.
he would have a little more dignity about
What
it.
if it was like a horrifying CGI creation with Sean Connery's face?
They just take off your shirt, Sean. How's this for? I don't need a fursuit, Howard. You fuck.
You know what, I think my
Yeah, like
issue-
Kurt Russell on Guardians 2. He's like, oh, we just do it with just a little bit of makeup. We
Yeah.
can sell it.
Just a little, you guys. That's
a
all I
little.
need.
Oh God.
So at this point, Cindy Lou Who, because the Grinch saved her, she's a big Grinch head, and she wants to know what his story is.
We get the
so she goes around
backstory.
asking people, like, where's the Grinch come from?
And then we meet.
We
the
get
two.
the epic backstory.
What was it, like the two sisters that raised him
they
or something?
raised, they run an, I'm assuming an orphanage.
One was Frau Farbissida from
Yes,
Austin
Mindy
Powers.
Sterling. What is her name?
That sounds about right.
I might be thinking of Mindy Kaling, but anyway, she's funny.
Mindy Kaling is not in this
No, I'm
movie.
just saying
No.
similar name, but yeah. So we get the backstory, and
It's what we all wanted,
we
right?
see this animatronic Grinch baby.
Oh, look at this little ghoulie.
There, like,
He
That's
is-
what he looks like.
He is horrifying.
if there was like a list of like the worst cinematic like animatronic babies, it would be this and like that one from Twilight that they didn't even use because it was too frightening.
Oh my God, there are so many Grinch baby toys, like based off the design of this movie.
How could anyone like that?
I think it's worse at the beginning because he's clearly all animatronic and his face is animatronic.
Well, I commented it looked like the baby dinosaur from Dinosaurs. It's been a
yeah.
long time since I've seen that.
Not as
but
cute, though.
That's what I imagine.
Oh, there's
it
a big
looked
argument on a podcast I listen to, Podcast The Ride, if that baby is cute or not.
like. The dinosaur.
Very heated debate.
Dinosaur
The dinosaur baby?
Yeah, the dinosaurs baby. Oh, wait, not dinosaurs. The like, I'm the baby. I was thinking of dinosaurs. Remember that classic Disney animated CGI film.
Oh,
Dinosaur?
Is that what it was called?
the
It's like
CGI?
dinosaurs?
the CGI one.
Yes.
That was just called Dinosaur.
I think it was called just Dinosaur.
No, I'm
And there's like a baby in it that's horrifying
Okay, no,
looking.
I've never seen that movie. No, I'm talking about the sitcom.
Yeah,
with like
the dinosaur.
Right.
the guy with the plaid shirt.
That time
dinosaur.
has weirdly forgotten.
It's very strange. Yeah,
It's not brought up a lot.
I remember watching it when it came out, and then
I watched it too, yeah.
I stopped for some reason. I don't know.
And then I
just
checked back
forgot
in, and
about it.
apparently they all got killed off in the Ice Age.
Yeah, wasn't there like a meteor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
how
the
the
final
season ends.
episode,
Is that
yeah.
like due to the like power plant that the main guy worked at? Like it caused an ice age, and they all die at the end.
Oh my
It's
god.
just kind of funny to me, though, that in the 90s, shows like that could exist. Like
Yeah.
a show with animatronic heads and people in dinosaur suits could be a evening sitcom. And also, like, there was things like the PJs, like that was claymation.
Yeah.
Things like that I feel like are not...
You have Cop Rock.
Now talk about
April,
experimental.
but what if we could do it cheaper and without that much effort?
Wait, what was the one with the talking dog that was possessed by like
Shit.
Shit.
Wasn't it
Dog?
possessed by like what's his name?
it wasn't
I'm
like
gonna look
Dom
it up now.
DeLuise or something. It was
No, because it was a series. It was Peter Boyle.
Oh, Peter Boyle.
That was
yeah.
just a pilot. It never went to series.
Now, speaking of horrific animatronics.
That trailer, Puchinsky. How could I
Puchinsky.
forget that name?
Yeah.
That if you look up, there's like a something terrible edit of it, and it's really funny. Like his spirit is transformed into a flatulent English bulldog
Yeah.
after he's killed in the line of duty,
Yeah.
and he's a puppet, and he like looks at himself in the mirror, and he's like, "Who am I now?" It's really funny.
It's really weird. Yeah, it's like a real dog at some points, but every time they cut to its face,
puppet.
it's like this horrific puppet.
Yeah.
It's like
It looked like Salem the cat from Sabrina.
I will always say when Salem the Cat comes up that animatronic is somewhere in a closet, frozen in a rictus scream for eternity.
with like the foam like rotting off. Do you think
Exactly.
he'll be like Mac tonight? Well, it'll just be like his exposed like eye sockets. with,
Oh,
like,
someone
eyeballs.
should make a feature film about all the like forgotten animatronics from pop culture come back
puppets.
for revenge.
Yeah, there'd be
Yeah.
like Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's like, they've been forgotten.
Yeah,
in
but not like
dumpsters.
right wing and crazy like the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's is.
Oh god. So yeah,
okay.
so what's the deal? All the kids come to town via like little baskets.
Storks?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
storks or like the like umbrellas that like float them down, and then the Grinch like gets knocked off course and ends up in like Whoville. He's supposed to end
Now-
up
Is
somewhere
Is he
else.
supposed to go to Grinchville?
Do the adults have sex and then set their children down with umbrellas after they give birth?
Don't they also have a joke like, my baby looks like my wife's boss or something?
Yeah, they
Guys,
do.
Come on. Come on with
That's a
this.
little one for mommy and daddy.
Yeah. That's
I
a
think there
little
were
too
a
much.
lot of jokes they said they had to cut out because they were too adult. Apparently, the Elliot Giesel's like niece or something like that. She's in control of his estate. Dr.
Oh.
Seuss, like was nixing a whole bunch of things.
Well,
like,
I don't blame them,
She said they were supposed to have like a stuffed Cat in the Hat like head in the Grinch's lair, like mounted
he
on the
killed
wall.
The cat in the hat. Yeah.
And she said like no way. And there were all these like adult jokes that she was like horrified at, and like, oh my god, don't you dare.
Honestly, I feel like don't make it like a PG-13 Grinch movie. Maybe
Yeah,
keep
make it hard R.
No, keep it G. Okay, so after this horrible animatronic baby grows up, it becomes a little kid Grinch.
Yeah.
And I think that this is my favorite thing about the movie. It's played by a little person actor who was like a teenager at the time, but he's actually really cute. I actually think this version of the Grinch is cute.
Yeah, he's sort of I don't know.
He's got this look on his face that's just like, I'm so fed up with it. Maybe that was the actor being fed up with the makeup. Who knows? But
he's got like he's such a little stinker. This guy, he wants to cause havoc.
yeah,
Oh, I should point out that the Grinch was born with original sin. That he was evil from the get-go.
Oh God.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
he was
right.
born-
Yeah, because he bites like Santa's heads off, the Santa cookies when he's
And he
like,
loves
right.
making trouble.
he goes,
Yeah.
Santa, go bye.
But anyway, so we're in, is it Valentine's Day? It's not, it's Christmas. Because he hates Christmas. They're giving each other gifts. Valentine's Day would have made more sense because it's like they're giving each other love letters. So
he's in love with the
little girl, Christine Baranski. I can't remember the name of her character.
Mm-hmm.
And she's into him. And
she is giving him like at first I thought it was like, a trick, like they're going to pull a Carey on him or something like that. And like,
they kind of do.
I wish there was something more than that because this backstory leads us to like, that's it? That's why the Grinch hates Christmas?
Well, it's like Cindy Lou Who's going around interviewing people like it's like Spotlight or something. Like, so like, what's your perspective?
Oh God, I hope it didn't go down the path of Spotlight.
We got to save these kids.
What's your perspective on it? And like Christine Baranski's like, did I have a crush on the Grinch? Who's to say? She goes, I didn't ask you that question, which is kind of funny. Again, Christine Baranski, good in this movie. I think she might be like the Crystal Connors, like I know what movie I'm in.
She knows what she's in.
I know what performance to give, whereas everyone else is giving too much. I feel like she's giving just enough.
Molly Shannon, very underused in this movie.
I know. And she's so funny. And like, maybe she had stuff that got cut, but it's almost like...
It was all the raunchy adult jokes.
Don't put her in this movie and not give her anything to do. Like, I'm glad that she got a paycheck, of course, but she's so much better than this movie. You know?
I think Tambor's getting all the screen time, him and the Grinch.
Speaking
People
of
love Jeffrey Tambor in the year 2000. They cannot get enough of him.
and then him and Ron Howard would do Arrested Development, right?
The best, which I still can't believe Ron Howard had anything to do with, but
Ron Howard, his voiceover is very funny.
It's
in the
really
rest of
hilarious.
the-
It's very self-aware, but it's.
I mean, his performance in The Simpsons is very funny too.
That's absolutely right.
We're going to a zoo with, special animals.
Hey, well, he come on, he was like an actor. I was trying to like explain to April yesterday. He was like a teen heartthrob, Ron Howard.
I find it hard to believe heartthrob.
Happy Days, April. You never watched that in syndication? I watched it when I was a kid.
Eat My Dirt or Eat My Dust, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah,
that a
and
show?
Grand Theft Auto.
Well, he did Grand Theft Auto as well. But I think he did a lot of movies for Roger Corman.
Right.
He was one of the Corman directors back in the day. I think he did Eat My Dust. He did direct that one. Oh, he starred in that one as well. I think the deal was that he wanted to direct. Roger Corman said, "Yeah, you can direct if you star in 2 films, including the one that you direct. Then I'll give you the opportunity. I'll do it.
Let me put your name and face all over this thing."
Oh yeah, I mean, he was also in American Graffiti.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
was
I
one of
have
the
seen
teenagers.
that,
Yeah, which kind of, led
to
into
Happy
Happy
Days.
Days. Happy Days
Yep.
was very American Graffiti. Well, there you go.
Well, what happens in the Grinch's past is he gives his girlfriend a toy that she doesn't like, and Jeffrey Tambor like makes fun of him, being like, "You have hair on your face," so he shaves. But like after he shaves, he doesn't even look different. Like,
Yeah, the reveal of him after he shaved, not that funny. The lead
I
up
wonder if
to
they
it.
just didn't want to do another makeup appliance.
but it's like you could barely even tell that there wasn't hair. I do think it's funny that he pulls the book down and then his foot is there blocking his
Yeah, that's
face.
funny. That's like the kind of Tex Avery stuff this movie doesn't have enough of.
I know,
Yeah.
it's like I'm grasping at straws here, but that's a good physical gag.
Yeah, and I can't think of anything else in the movie
Not really. Yeah.
that kind of got a laugh out of me.
But when the reveal of what he looks like shaved, he should have been like completely bald.
Yeah,
like there's no
it's-
gag there.
Yeah, the
yeah.
gag is he has some toilet paper on his face. Like, yeah, like enough that it basically ruins his life. And
Yeah,
he's
they're
so
all laughing at
angry
him.
that he becomes the Grinch, basically.
Yeah,
you know?
which makes
Like that's it? Do you think they cut out like a scene where he was drunk during Christmas and like ran someone over? That's why he had
Where's
to go
the
into hiding.
motivation? Give me some. What is this, like 8 Crazy Nights? That's what happens in that movie.
they take him outside and all the kids like beat the shit out of him, and, like
Yeah.
stomp his head.
Yeah.
Like that I can
So-
understand.
Now we have to get to the holiday cheermeister stuff. Again, there's so much filler in this that we don't need.
So what is the deal with this? This is like a yearly competition where someone gets nominated for like Who of the Year or something
Yeah.
like that. And then Cindy
Sure.
Lou nominates
The Grinch.
the Grinch.
And then so if you nominate someone, they have to do it. And then like you get like a 20-minute scene of the Grinch deciding whether or not he's gonna go to this thing and what should I wear, and like, okay, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna not go, talking to his dog. It's just like, get on with it.
Can you imagine being on set and like watching all of this like stone face?
Oh God.
Yeah.
As Jim Carrey's like, somebody stop me.
He's like dangerously close to doing the mask in this movie, like many, many times.
Well, it worked in that because he actually was supposed to be a cartoon.
I would say watch The Mask again. Doesn't hold up as well as I remember watching it the 100 times I did as a child.
Yeah, definitely.
I watched it not that long ago, and I still loved it, but I'm talking like at least 10 years ago.
It was of the
People
time.
are screaming at their podcasts and they're like, it's because you saw The Mask at the age that I saw The Grinch. No difference.
Exactly. So we could be wrong about this.
It's possible.
It has happened.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That we're wrong?
It's not like
never.
Who are we to say that anyone's enjoyment of this movie is wrong?
Yeah.
Who are we to say that The Grinch is a horrifying,
Monstrosity
seemingly
of a
3
movie.
hours motion tour through hell?
Seemingly 3 hours. But we're about to get my least favorite scene in the movie, which is where they parade the Grinch around the town square and seemingly torture him.
Yeah,
So
it's like a feedy sequence where it's like, look, feed him.
this is
Yeah.
that is the most disgusting thing I've like ever
They're
seen.
shoving pudding in his face.
He has to eat pudding, and then oh god,
It's gross.
It's just so
Very,
gross.
it's so off-putting, and I guess it's supposed to be funny.
Jeffrey.
Colin, April, didn't you laugh when they took the time to do a Chariots of Fire parody?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, gotta get those pop culture references.
Oh, those
in.
kids
Film
are
from
laughing.
1981.
Yeah, I mean the kids watching this have not seen Chariots of Fire.
Yeah, who doesn't know the Vangelis theme?
Well, the
What
thing is,
child doesn't know
kids
Chariots of
do
Fire?
know that, but they don't know what it means.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
they
sure.
think it's from The Grinch.
Yeah,
I remember
In the
growing
same
up.
way they think that astronauts walking in slow motion is from Armageddon and is parodied in
Yeah.
Monsters Incorporated.
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember when Chariots of Fire came out, my dad would play that soundtrack relentlessly in the car, everywhere we went.
Wow.
Was he trying to pump you up?
I don't know why, but yeah, we'd just drive go to like the furniture store and he'd be playing Chariots of Fire constantly.
That's so funny.
Just drive up
He's
and
like,
down
Colin,
the
run!
street. That was like, the hip hop of the day. You just drive up and down the street, the music blaring. Oh, damn those kids and their Chariots of Fire.
Ugh, the Blade Runner soundtrack. Again? So vulgar.
This is where there actually is like a Carey reference, I think, where they give him the electric shaver and he starts having like Vietnam
PTSD
flashback.
Yeah. So Jeffrey Tambor, it's revealed in the flashback that he was also in the class and he was like, he
was making fun of
he had a
him.
thing for Christine Baranski's character, and you saw the Grinch as like
so
competition.
It's been what 30 years. He hasn't been able to lock that down. With,
who
with
knows how
Christine
long these
Baranski?
things. For all we know, these people are like.
And
hundreds of
wait
years
a
old.
minute. Is Jeffrey Tambor the same age as the other person?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're all the same age. They all went to school together.
Who can say?
1952. I'm looking. No, Jeffrey Tambor is 78 years old.
Good Lord.
Well, he's a lot older than Christine Baranski.
is, I mean,
she's
not to speak of a lady's age. Oh, you know what? She's pretty close to him, 70 years old. 8-year difference.
Okay, not that bad.
Not so bad.
But anyway, so the Grinch is out and he
starts wrecking the town.
burns
and,
things, right?
Yeah.
There's an explosion where he flies towards the camera. Was
Oh,
that in
yeah.
this scene?
Yeah.
And I was like, is that a Mission Impossible reference, Justin?
It's just a movie trope.
I don't know. At this point, my notes literally like just trail off like a man dying.
Well,
like, I
this is
can't.
where
It's like the end of like a Lovecraft story where like the
Yeah,
narrator
where
is writing his
the
journal.
horrors were so disturbing that I could not describe them.
we also forgot to mention the small people, like the
Oh my
foot
God.
tall people, less than a foot tall.
Yeah, they are introduced for some reason in the opening shot of the movie. They have these tiny little CG whoos that pop
Yeah.
out of like trumpets and tubas for whatever reason.
Well, because they were in the cartoon, that's why.
But they're used so sparingly in the movie, obviously,
They're in
because
this
like
scene too.
the effects would be expensive at this time. But oh my God, they show up like 3 times maybe in the whole movie, and
Yeah,
I keep
it's like-
forgetting about them. And every time they show up, it's
You're like,
horrifying.
wow, what's this?
Like, oh God,
It's like just don't have them in it if you're going to use it that sparingly.
yeah, it's
But they wanted to make a reference to the Seuss. Okay, whatever.
whatever. Yeah.
No, not whatever. You know what? All this conversation is turning me around on the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. I love it now.
You contrarian.
Maybe it's
We're
not
all
so bad.
Grinches now, everybody. Let our hearts grow 3 times as big.
Yeah, and here we get the
worry, whatever the song goes.
here we get the it's because I'm green joke.
Yes.
The taxi won't stop. It's like, oh my god, don't put this racial joke in the Grinch
Yeah.
movie, please.
That would never fly today.
Yeah, I feel like if it was done today, I was saying it would be like Green Lives Matter.
Yes, it would.
Oh,
it absolutely would.
Oh, I mean, oh god.
Did anyone?
Sorry, I don't even want to go there. It's so depressing.
Did anybody see?
I was gonna say, do you think there's a joke like that in the Santa Clauses, where he's like, Santa Clauses matter?
Probably.
Yeah, I bet there's a joke where he's looking at the name on the like present on the tag, and he doesn't know whether it's like a girl or boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, ugh.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I don't know what to get him. Like, ugh.
Where's the pronouns?
Yeah, like Jesus.
Or
Christ.
he's like, what? She wants a baseball bat? But that's not a girl's gift.
Okay,
Come on.
Okay, no, we're all acting like Tim Allen wrote this new Santa Claus thing. Like,
You better
I'm sure
believe
it's
he
a
did.
Disney show.
Guys, I
so
got some
I'm
notes on the
I'm
script.
sure it's not like Last Man Standing or whatever.
I'm gonna take a crack at this. Me and Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim Allen, that was one of the things that he needed to happen on this. He needed to be the head writer on the Santa Clauses. You know that the show is like filled with callbacks, right? It'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
now I'm in trouble or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm in big trouble.
I'm in big trouble,
Like
yeah.
that movie he was in called Big Trouble.
Yeah.
No, it's a scene where he looks at himself in the mirror.
Oh.
He's like, I'm in trouble.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he turns into a Santa
I thought you were
Claus.
referencing that other movie.
Wow, you actually remember
Tim
that
Allen.
movie.
I think I saw
He wants
that.
like deep cuts. It's like, oh man, you're acting jungle to jungle.
Yeah.
Wow, I
and
think
whatever.
I'm gonna rat this guy out so
gonna
I
get
can not
my-
go to prison.
Gonna get my red belt.
So there's also references to him going to prison
real?
for cocaine.
Him ratting
real
out
life.
the drug dealer.
Boy, this house could really use some home improvement, right, guys?
Oh, more power.
Also, I'm
Let's
Buzz Lightyear.
zoom through this shaggy dog. All right. There's so many Tim Allen movies for richer, for poorer, Wild Hogs, Christmas with the Cranks.
Is
Now that movie I have seen some of, and that is like insane.
who else is in that movie?
Dan Aykroyd.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh,
Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah.
Oh boy,
That movie's whack.
was it just like competing families?
Well, it's like we decide not to have Christmas, and then like the whole town like turns against them and is like, "How
Oh.
dare you not celebrate Christmas?" It's bizarre. It's like a cult.
It's based on a novel called Skipping Christmas
It is.
by John Grisham.
yes.
What? No.
Believe it or not, it is. Yes, it's
No.
based
Yeah,
on a
it is.
novel. Yeah.
It
John
was written
Grisham.
and produced
I think
by
so,
the
yeah.
golden boy himself. Chris Columbus has never made a bad film.
You're kidding. It is not John Grisham.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it
our
is.
friend, for our podcast friends, This Film Is Lit, did Christmas with the Cranks.
Does it end up in like in a big court scene?
No.
No, it does not.
Ah.
It ends with them conceding, okay, we will celebrate Christmas.
So is their name actually the Cranks, or is
yeah,
Yes.
that? Oh, okay. Well, that's a coincidence.
because they're cranky.
Well, they don't know that the film is called Christmas with the Cranks. They don't break the fourth wall.
Okay, so let's get to the conclusion of The Grinch, which is the actual story.
We're not even
No, well,
close.
the actual story, which is he
Yes.
decides to become Santa Claus, and we get a big musical number. We did mention Cindy Lou Who sings a song earlier. but, I mean,
Terribly,
it's not
it's a
really
terrible
important.
song.
And they
Again,
keep-
reminded
they
me
keep
of
playing
Hook, of that like
yes,
stupid kid in that
it did
movie
remind
singing
me
the
of
song.
that, where the song is "Where Are You Christmas?"
Yeah.
and they keep playing it over and over and over.
Colin, how quickly you turn against your favorite film of all time. Hook.
Not anymore, it ain't.
But yeah, so the Grinch, or Jim Carey, sings the Grinch song, and he's
Is there a
like,
difference between Jim Carey and the Grinch? Are they not
look,
one and the
he's
same?
like on a trapeze, like swinging around and singing, and I was like, oh, is this a reference to Moulin Rouge? Came out 1 year before. So it's not.
Maybe.
It's
Moulin
not.
Rouge was referencing
No. This
the Grinch.
this came out first. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like what Colin said.
It's just Baz Luhrmann's watching the Grinch on repeat. Like, oh yeah, I've got to steal some.
He's like, this is the visual invention I need.
Yes.
For some reason, I have no Australian accent.
Ron Howard, you've done it again.
Yeah, so he does what we all know happens in the cartoon. There's really no difference here. It's just the live action
It's like
version of that.
Much longer.
Except, of course,
There's a big difference,
there's-
which is my favorite part of
There's
the
one scene
What?
that they
Oh
add.
no! I know the one you're talking about.
where bad man Jeffrey Tambor's in bed and he's making kissy sounds like, and then the Grinch takes the dog and he puts its butt in Jeffrey Tambor's face, and then the dog's eyes do the classic 2000 boing.
And they actually expand with CG.
I wanted to take this opportunity. Colin, how would you have done this in computer effects?
Exactly the same way. I wouldn't have changed a frame.
But how would you do it?
No, but like, what program would you use? Let's get in the weeds here.
Oh, you probably use Nuke or something. You could do it in After Effects.
So you just go frame by frame and make the eyes
it's
expand?
It's just like a little warp, You can like take the eyes and just sort of stretch out the points so they go moing.
Add some motion blur. There you go.
There you go. Done and done.
And do you think Ron Howard was like, no, bigger?
Yeah.
Too big,
bigger.
too big. It's ruining the joke.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, this is like dog rape. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay for the dog.
Do you think the Grinch left the dog in front of Jeffrey Tambor for a long time?
Oh, God.
Like you look, like his tongue was out and stuff like that?
Yeah.
But it's just funnier because the dog has such an emotionless look on its face.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole movie, it does not want to be here.
No.
So just adding these like eyes and like nothing else on his face changes whatsoever. It's just really funny. It's like this really bored look and the eyes go.
Was it furry vengeance that like the animals kept doing
Yes.
that?
Oh yeah, probably.
Well, like way more.
Oh, way better though.
But when you do it more,
no,
it's
that was
funnier.
comedy.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That honestly,
It comes out of nowhere and there's been nothing like it
No.
before.
No.
It's like, whoa, what?
or after. Faces never stretched like that in the entire movie.
Hey guys, it's director Ron Howard. I've got this wacky idea.
Hey, speaking of which, there's a scene where the Grinch pretends to be Ron Howard and directs the dog on how to be a reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that funny, you guys?
Hilarious.
I was laughing. I fell out of my seat.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I
I
did.
was like, oh, he's doing a Spielberg. And Colin's like, no, he's doing Ron Howard.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he
yeah.
had like a hat
He's-
that looked like the Spielberg hat that he wears.
I think
Do you think Steven Spielberg has to be like very polite around Ron Howard? Like, he's like, oh, I really like your movies, Ron. real nice.
Why, he's, like, afraid of him?
Ron Howard's online too. What? He just doesn't want to be like telling his
Again, he
movies are
calls
terrible.
every day.
It's like tell him.
You know what he does is you like pick an element from the film you say you like, so you don't have to talk about the entire film.
Yeah, you
You're like,
start-
I really loved God, the dog. Oh, the dog was so fun.
Scene where he gets
So it's like
kissed
our
on the
podcast,
asshole.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you start.
That's how Steven Spielberg deals with Ron
You
Howard.
start with something positive.
You're like, what? The movie made so much money.
Yeah.
So much money.
Congratulations
That's
on a big hit.
crazy because I remember going to. I think I was telling you this. I was getting the Universal Studios tour in like L.A. And then you see like the Psycho house, and then it's like this big deal was like, oh, it's the Who Village or whatever from. Which had just come out at the time, and I had no idea what the hell.
That was up until recently.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
like a couple years ago, it got taken down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I wonder if people applauded like it was the biggest pop of the tour.
Yeah, if you think about it, like obviously people love this movie because if that was up for that long and they weren't just like, nobody's seeing Whoville, destroy it for Marvel Land. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
but they're still like, that's where the Desperate Housewives live. It's still part of the tour.
That hasn't been
so.
on in a long time. So I guess not. So we get to the end of the movie. Also, the Grinch's sled is like a hovercraft because it's like, make it 2000.
Yeah, it's got like jets on it. He's like an inventor, a wacky inventor.
Also, there's the classic scene where he meets Cindy Lou Who, and she seemingly actually thinks he's Santa. Like,
This is ridiculous.
it doesn't make sense because they've already
She's met the Grinch.
Yeah, exactly.
She's
They've
like,
met.
she's like the only one who's seen him up close. He's just wearing a Santa hat and a Santa like jacket.
Like in the original cartoon, she's a lot younger, and that is the first time she's meeting him. So maybe she thinks that is what Santa.
She
looks
doesn't
like.
even have the beard. Like it's literally
Yeah.
just the Grinch.
Yeah,
And like,
exactly.
you're like so stupid.
Well,
Cindy.
maybe she's like pretending she doesn't know.
No,
She's got some real bad cataracts, Colin. It's something that happens to the Who when they go into puberty.
she's like a genetic anomaly.
Yeah,
That's why she doesn't have the who.
yeah, that's why
nose.
she doesn't have the upturned nose.
yeah. So anyway, so he makes the dog pull the sled up the mountain just like in the cartoon. I'm not going to complain about things that were in the cartoon because I like the cartoon.
Yeah, that's fine. It's
Slash
just
book.
all the padding is just like, oh god.
Yeah. But yeah, the typical stuff happens, except they kind of changed the ending here because in the original, as we know, he's listening for them to cry and then they're singing and
Nope.
he's like, oh, they didn't care that I took their presents. That warms my heart. In this, they're pissed. And they're like, kill the Grinch and kill Cindy Lou Who, essentially. Where the fuck is my shit?
Grinch.
Where's my presents? And then she has to give a speech. Well, actually, her dad gives a speech, which is nice. Because at the beginning of the movie, he said Christmas was about presents. And now he realizes it's not. He goes, I'm glad he took our stuff. And a rousing speech reminds everyone that Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas means just a little bit more.
Is that Anthony Hopkins?
That's my Anthony Hopkins.
I'm giving serious thought to eating your little daughter.
Yes. You can always say it was me. But yeah, so basically the story continues like that, but they fuck up the scene where Grinch's heart grows big instead of
I liked it. Jim Carrey screams in agony,
like he's
grabbing at his
like
chest.
he's and his arm like he's having a heart attack. But they really should have just did a 2D, 3D, whatever, like they do in the cartoon and show it getting bigger. Instead, it's like it's moving in his shirt. And it looks like he has like a mouse in his shirt.
Yeah, but it's
like a xenomorph is about to burst out of his chest.
Yeah, but it's CG.
It's horrible CG. So it's just like stretching his jacket into this like heart shape. It looks so awful.
Yeah.
It's basically just the same effect they did with the dog's eyes.
Kind of, yeah.
If it works once. But yeah, so he's about to like tip the sled over and
Cindy Lou Who is now on it. So we got to add stakes, guys. It can't just be about the stuff.
Well,
I could not believe it. I looked at the time and I went, oh, there's still 15 minutes left of this movie.
Yeah, so I guess she travels up the tunnel. Like, how does this tunnel work? It goes both ways? It's like a slide.
It's a trash chute that goes both ways somehow.
And she sees them. She's like, "It's me. I just wanted to tell you Happy Merry Christmas or whatever." And they cut to a close up, and his reaction. It is so gross. It's supposed to be like him, like
heartwarming.
Him being all like warmed by seeing Cindy Lou Who. It looks so creepy, like he's gonna take her and do awful things.
Well, Jim Carrey is incapable of giving like an emotional performance here, which is what the movie needed.
Yeah.
He's in the same register he is in for the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's also just the way the makeup is designed. It's sort of like they've kind of built in the creases and like kind of expression already into his face.
So when he smiles, it kind of looks, it's a creepy clown
he's like kind of
smile,
fighting what the makeup is sort of its default expression is. So it just looks really insidious and creepy.
But he does not do anything to that little girl. Don't worry. He saves her.
That was cut out.
Yeah, the Zeus estate was like, you cannot have the scene where the Grinch murders a woman.
Yeah, Ron Howard was pushing for it, but the Elliot Diesel's niece fought against it.
So I guess they go back down to Whoville.
Well, this is like a huge action scene where they're sliding down the hill, flying and jetting.
Oh yeah, and then he says like "bitchin' powder, dude," or something.
Bitchin'. Yeah, he's like surfing. He's like
you can't say bitchin' in the
He's
kids
like
movie.
skiing. He's like having a wacky old time. It's crazy.
Well, now he gets to fuck Christine Baranski, essentially. Sorry, kids.
Does he have a dick? He's naked. We don't see
right.
it.
Yeah,
you're right. Well, they just decide they want to have
That's
a
what
baby,
they cut out.
and then
like it ended with the Grinch being like, "Finally, I can let this bad boy down," and just like slammed on the ground.
Yeah, they had to have like ILM digitally remove it for the entire movie. It was like
it was like the cat's butthole cut.
Yes.
The credit. Release the Grinch dick cut.
Again, Ron Howard. I really want to see his cock in the entire movie.
This is a little teaser for the Patreon episode that hasn't dropped yet. A lot of dick talk on that one too.
But yeah, so he returns to the town square and they all hate him, but he's like, "I'm giving your stuff back," and then they all forgive him, I guess. And then except Jeffrey Tambor, he's mean. But I can't remember what happens. They all
probably just sing a song.
They make up, and Christine Baranski says, "I can't marry you.
And
I'm in love with."
Yeah, she gives
someone
Tambor
else.
his ring back.
And then the Grinch gloats about it. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like even in this moment, he can't
He ruins it.
be obnoxious. Can't
And
not be obnoxious.
then they have Christmas dinner in his garbage cave.
Yeah.
Or
And this
whatever
is-
you want to call it.
And this is really creepy. He's like cooking the roast beast.
Yes.
But it looks like a turkey, but it's got like
It's got 6 legs.
It's got like spider legs or something. It's kind of horrifying.
I think that design may have been from the original. I don't remember exactly. But
Again,
yeah.
it's horrifying.
And then he's like, I'm eating the gizzard. And like, it's the end. Like, can you just end on a quiet, sweet note? No, we have to be yelling at all times. And I think that's it.
I actually track that 11 minutes in is when the Grinch and someone else are like, oh, screaming at each other. And the rest of the movie is like that.
All the way until
It
the
doesn't
end.
let up.
Except for the one part where Lou who sings a song.
I'm eating the gizzard.
Oh my God. Yeah, you kind of prepared me for this. You're like, oh man, he's like hooting and hollering and like pelvic thrusting and going, ooh.
Oh, I think, wasn't it me? Because I did the pelvic thrust.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I was talking to
He
you.
meant you, yeah.
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 P-R-A-T-Y, party!
Yeah. But it's like, again, like the issue I have with this movie, among many, is that it's just Jim Carrey's shtick. It's just that. There's really no Grinch in there. There's a little bit, I guess, but anything that's from the original, it's like it has to comment on it and make it either update it or make it Jim Carrey. And like it's just too much.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
I have not seen the Scott Mosier directed The Grinch from 2018.
Yeah, what
Neither,
the
but
hell?
You know what? I might check it out. Why not?
It's funny because I was reading about that, and it's Benedict Cumberbatch plays the Grinch.
Yeah, but I don't
in
even
that.
know if it's the original story. Is he on a tropical vacation? Is it a
I have
prequel?
no
I have
idea.
no idea what it is.
But I was reading like some behind the scenes, and Benedict Cumberbatch was like, I took the role, but I really wanted to know why the Grinch ended up like this and
God.
like what his backstory was. And I'm like, oh no, did they have a flashback in that as well?
We don't need a backstory.
I mean,
I need it. I need the motivation.
you got to pad out the story somehow.
Well, no one talks about
Yeah.
that movie at all. It was talked about briefly when it came out, and that's it. I think it's an Illumination movie.
Did they do the?
I think it was a big hit, though.
Oh,
did they do the Lorax as well?
Illumination?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that movie looked.
Was Jim Carrey
rotten.
in
No,
that?
that's Danny DeVito.
Oh,
Danny DeVito, I'm the Lorax. that's what
Yeah,
the
that's all
movie
he
so the
says.
Grinch from 2018 movie made $512 million worldwide.
Jesus! Wow, if you want to make some money,
So it
do a Grinch movie.
probably had less of a budget than that.
Yeah, for
75
sure.
million is what it cost.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. So it did well. Yeah, and I believe again that's Illumination, so it's cheaper.
That's the
animated.
Minion people,
Yeah,
right?
I think
The Minion
that's-
Factory.
That's who
the
did that.
Frenchies.
I could be
boy.
wrong, but I think that was Illumination.
I think so.
Yeah, so I might check that out just for giggles.
Yeah, the one thing this
palate
movie
cleanser.
ended. So I actually know the VFX supervisor, Kevin Mack. This is effects done by Digital Domain in The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and I did kind of like the elements. I like the kind of sky elements. Like they took some stylistic elements from the drawings, like the kind of swirly skies and stuff like that.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it's the only kind of, I don't know, interesting bit of design, I think, in the movie. And then they just reverse out the exact same way as the movie begun. I think
With
it's
the
probably the same
snowflake.
footage.
Yeah.
They just like reversed it of them coming out of the snowflake.
Yeah, and that's the movie.
There you go.
Justin, this is all your fault.
Yeah, thank you. Now
I had a fun time.
now I'm ready to start the Christmas season.
Yeah. 'Cause
I'm so
Everything is
jolly.
uphill or downhill. How did that expression go from here? Like
It's all,
better.
it's all uphill from here.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from here. Wait, down is good. Right?
Well-
Down is good because it's easy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's easy, but then you get to the bottom and it's like,
Yeah.
We're watching The Grinch again.
Yeah. This movie is available on Crave TV in Canada, which I think is probably HBO Max in the States.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty available. Come on, this is a hugely popular movie. It's not like it's tough to find. And hey, if you like it, how about maybe comment and let me know reasons why? Like, is it just nostalgia, or are there things about it that you genuinely enjoy? Please let me know, because It would fascinate me. And that's it for this week. If you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingasabadmovie@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at nosuchthingpod. And consider joining the Patreon, patreon.com/nosuchthingasabadmovie. At the $5 level, you get a bonus episode every 2 weeks. And we just recorded one on the two Ty West movies, X and Pearl, both horror movies.
And we kind of talk about, Ty West's career.
Yeah. So a little bit of a dive, I wouldn't say deep dive, but a shallow dive on him on that. And so check that out. And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Admansky.
You can find me on Twitter at DeCloux, DCLOUX, and the letter J, and as well on the Important Cinema Club podcast, which I do with my co-host Will Sloan every week. And if you want to watch some holiday movies, clear off the schedule. On December 10th, I'm showing like 14 hours of holiday films starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out my Twitter page and the pinned tweet for more info on that.
Well, 14 hours, they're getting longer and longer.
Yeah. It usually gets done at about like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA, and on Mastodon. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a Mastodon.
Oh, you're right. By the time this comes out, we may be throwing people in
my Discord channel.
I don't believe the hype. But Justin, I forgot. Your horror one was 24 hours. So is that because there's just not enough Christmas movies?
Well, I mean, there's not enough Christmas movies. And I don't want to do 24 hours again. It's too hard.
I don't blame you. Well, I definitely will try and catch that one at December 10th.
The 4-hour cut of Santa with muscles.
We did that a long time ago on the podcast. Who can remember though, right?
I do, because I'm like, that's Hulk Hogan's real hair, everybody.
Yeah. Good times. So thank you for dropping by. Thank you for listening to us talk about The Grinch. We'll do some more holiday movies. I'm sure we can find lots of movies to talk about this month that are considered bad, but maybe are not so bad. Who knows, right? I'm April Admansky.
I'm Justin McClue.
All of you just launch into a coughing fit after lying through your teeth. They will all be bad. I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a holiday movie.
You want to take that again?
There's no such thing as a bad holiday movie.